Today, May 17, 2026, we leave the mortal ashes of our sister in Christ, Mary Pearl Wilkerson Morales, here below a tree in the garden of First Wesleyan Church in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, where also are the ashes of Beulah Hooker, who was the first COVID victim in Bartlesville and a dear friend to Mary Wilkerson. Mary Pearl was born April 14, 1944 in Hannibal, Missouri to Nellie Mae Wilkerson. Her father, George Ellis Wilkerson, at the time served in the military with the Allied troops. Their unit had advanced up the coast of Italy, driving Nazi Germans out of Italy. He died of injuries received in the Battle of Arcona on July 17, 1944. Mary would never know her father. The last letter her father wrote from a military hospital was in May 1944. He made reference to his mother, how much he loved his wife, and how much he wanted to meet his little girl, Mary Pearl. Mary grew up as an only child. She lived near her maternal grandfather, who was like a father to her. He was Tiburcio Jimenez, born in Jalisco in 1886 in Mexico. He fled Mexico like many others in the aftermath of La Revolucion. He walked north across Mexico, reaching the border at Laredo, Texas, where he changed his name to Tony James. Mary's Mexican grandfather was a faithful member of the United Pentecostal Church in Hannibal for 60 years. Tony James died the year Mary left Bartlesville CPC College. She was employed by the Missions Department of the Pilgrim Holiness Church in Laredo, Texas, and assisted Francisco Soltero with correspondence and forwarding packages to pastors and churches in Mexico. She grew up knowing an Uncle Julian that survived World War II, who was part of a unit that helped develop the atom bomb. And Aunt Margaret also was part of her life. Mary was proud of her Mexican heritage. She identified with a girl at the college, Anita Perkins, whose uncle was Porfirio Diaz, a dictator that was removed in 1910. Mary studied 4 years at the CPC Bible School, now known as Oklahoma Wesleyan University. She sang in the choir, was part of the Gospelaires trio, played piano, and was liked by classmates. Eunice Brown said she was known in the dormitory as a girl with a rigid habit of getting up early at 5 a.m. to pray in loud, audible tones for many to hear. Eunice, whose room was next door, said it was a daily occurrence. Sharon Worthington remembered her voice as the voice of an angel. We thought for sure she would marry the Ponca Indian Maynard Hinman. Some thought maybe she would marry Joe Aguilar. Leaving Bartlesville, Oklahoma in 1966, she went to serve the Pilgrim Holiness Foreign Missions Department in Laredo, Texas as clerical assistant to Francisco Soltero and his wife Nellie. While Tim and Roberta Robenstein lived in Corpus Christi, Texas, they would make trips to visit Mary. She was our guide to Mexico. She could speak Spanish. She would help pastors cross the border with Bibles, materials, suits, and other items difficult to purchase in Mexico. After the Mexican director Francisco Soltero died in 1977, she continued her education and in 1978 married a widowed grocery salesman who visited towns in South Texas. Jesus Morales from Zapata was 58 years old with 4 adult children. His wife had a heart attack, and he took Mary to be his wife when Mary was 34, the year after her employment ended with the Pilgrim Holiness Church. She adapted to being a mom by the 4 stepchildren who survived her. Jesus Morales Jr. was the eldest, Rosa, Josue Joel, and Ruth. They called, checked in on her, and she loved them. When she passed away, there were 10 step-grandchildren and 12 step-great-grandchildren. She won the hearts of the 4 stepchildren. Today, they all speak kindly of her. She was employed with the public schools in Zapata, where she discovered her gifting and joy teaching children with special needs. She loved her work, and the people loved her as well. Once she asked me, Roberta, to drive up from Valle de Bravo, Mexico to meet her in Laredo, and together we flew to homecoming at OKWU in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. Mary paid the airfare and the hotel. It was a special time. She was especially kind to her neighbors, in particular Vietnam veterans who were still affected because of the war. She had excellent caregivers who kindly attended to her personal needs as well as her animals. No one ever heard her complain or speak unkindly of anyone. In the last days of her life, she got in touch with Joe Aguilar, a widower now, whom she had had a crush on when she was young. Late in life, they both would talk for hours. He would send her care packages, chocolates mostly. They were a great consolation to each other. Joe as well had physical limitations and could not travel to visit her. Today we honor her life and give thanks to God for her time of service to the Wesleyan Church, the school in Zapata, and those neighbors and caregivers that helped care for her. Especially we want to honor the caregivers Lydia and Leticia in Zapata, who kindly came to her home every day to clean, give nursing care, fix food, and care for her. She left nothing but a small house in Zapata, which will be divided among the 4 stepchildren, and a legacy very strong and rich of a girl who was born, became an orphan, and set out her entire life to serve Jesus. We bless the spiritual children and the seed and legacy she has left. Thanks, Mary Wilkerson Morales, for shining for Jesus. The last time Tim and Roberta passed through town to visit her, Roberta asked if there was anything special we could pray for. She replied, "Pray that I can walk again." Let's believe today that God has answered this prayer, and she is walking all over heaven saying, God has been faithful.
When all is done, and my last word is said, ye who love me murmur, he is dead. Let no one weep for fear that I would know I'm sorrow too, because ye sorrow so. When all is done, say not my day is o'er, that through night I seek a dimmer shore. Say rather that my morn has just begun. I greet the dawn and not the setting sun when all is done.